Hello, I am going to show you how to create glow effects in colored pencil. I am using a darker, it's not as dark as I could be using, but it's like a dark gray paper. Biggest thing with glow effects in colored pencil is you want to use a darker paper, because white obviously is not going to really show it. So what we're going to do is we're going to start with your basic circle. It's going to be like a sphere, like a glowing ball. That's kind of what I have in mind to do, to kind of show you how I do it. And now the outer rim of this object is actually going to be lighter in color, so it's okay to kind of outline it in white. And since it's still an actual physical object that we're doing, you can add shine and some shading in there. We're going to add a little bit, we're going to add 2 or 3 more colors to it. It's going to be like a lavender color. But you want to start with white to start off, and then as you make, you want to sort of, with your white outline, you sort of want to go around and lighten up the pressure and sort of make a sort of blurred or light shading of white around the edges. And then you can go in, just making this a little bit lighter in here. Then you can start to go in with your darkest shades, which what I'm going to use is actually going to be purple. And stay a little bit on the edge of the rim here. Leave space in between that and the dark color, because you're going to shade in with some of the much lighter shades that I have here. That way you'll have more of a nice smooth blend of color when you go to add your lighter colors for the glow effect. But mainly you want to use maybe 2 or 3 colors, including white, to achieve this effect if you're going to do this. You may not even have to actually color in the entire object that you're doing, and just sort of add a light shading on the rim of it and an outline. That's a very simple way to do something. But this I'm just showing you as a more complex sort of way to do it, a more complete way of doing it. Because if you want an actual object that actually glows, this is how you go about it. The same rules of shadow and light apply a little bit, but then they start to get a little fuzzy towards the edges. You're obviously going to have a different sort of behavior with light when it comes to having something glow. The shadow, instead of being a shadow, is actually going to be almost like a glow, almost like a spotlight. Not quite, but something like that. And it's only going to be a very small darkness right underneath the tip of this ball. And then it's going to extend out in a wider light. And this is going to be elliptical, since we're working with a circular sphere. And just like a spotlight, basically. And you can go back in with a little bit of white and actually get a little more intensity and the lighter color closer to that shadow. Okay, and then we're going to go in with your second shading here. And again, like you did with the darker purple, stay a little bit away from the edge. Fill in a little bit, but just stay away from it for a little bit, because you don't want to overwhelm the highlight. These kinds of exercises work great on black paper. I just don't have any at this time, so I'm working on like a light gray or a dark gray color for right now. And you can actually go in with the same color right around the little highlight in the middle. And then you go in with your lighter color again. And this you can kind of fill in because it's going to blend a little bit with the white. And like I said, you can go back in with the white and intensify these highlights if you feel that they're not bright enough. And just kind of shade around the edges of this particular highlight, but leave it white. And then gently go around the side here on the rim, just leaving the white on the very edge. But you're going to blend this color with some of the white and leave the very edge of it white. And then with the same color you can go in and actually sort of light pressure on the outside of the ball. You can cover a little bit of the white now with this light pink. And we can go back with the white and intensify some of those highlights. Like this around here. And now lightly shade. And the same area that you added your pink, your light pink, you're going to do the same sort of thing with the white. And sort of let a little bit of that blend in. And you can even add cool little effects if you want to do like lightning effects. If you really want to do that, you would do something like this. You can do like little squiggly lines. They don't have to be exact for lightning or anything like that, but I'll just do a few right here. And make sure they connect with the rim of the highlight there so they look like they're actually coming off it. And then you go in with your light pink again and you sort of surround it like you did with the rim. This is also a good technique for doing lightning, because lightning is obviously very illuminated and has its own glow to it. And then just add a little bit of white, maybe a little bit of white haze. And that's generally how you approach doing something that glows. You can actually do an outline of something. I'll show you this way. Like say you're doing the rim of, just the rim of something. And we'll just do like the side of a circular object here. You would draw that outline in white, preferably, to start. And then you go in with your lightest color, besides white, and start shading in a little bit in there. And maybe add a second color if you really want to. You don't have to, but usually the white and your secondary color, which is the light color, that would be all that you really needed to do for an outline. And then you just add that light pressure haze around the rim here. And then you'd go back in with a little bit of white to add that extra luminescence. Because really glow is almost like a light haze in a way. It's a really nice effect to play with though. One great exercise that I did back in college was to actually use black and white photos of still lifes or models, anything, and actually outline them with maybe one or two colors. And it's a really good exercise in lighting and understanding how color works and shading. It's really a great exercise. I suggest it to anyone. But in general, this is how you would outline something. It doesn't have to be elaborate. I mean, you can do something as simple as this. It all depends on how stark your lighting is. And just sort of, and how intense it is. You may not even need to use any white. You can just do hints of white, you know. It's very fun, you know, definitely experiment with that. But that's in general how you would play around with that sort of thing. Thank you for watching, and I will have some more tutorials next week.